Welcome back, Zcoin. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare and ultra-valuable Washington quarter dollar coins. You might want to check your pocket change or old coin jars after this video, because the coins we're about to reveal are worth serious money, some fetching up to millions of dollars on the current market. These aren't just coins. They are historical artifacts, rare minting mistakes, and valuable collector's pieces that have shocked the numismatic world. From early silver quarters to modern minting marvels, these 7 coins are the cream of the crop. Let's begin our countdown of the top 7 most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins currently worth a lot of money. We're diving into a fascinating piece of American currency history, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. It might look like any other quarter you have in your pocket, but don't be fooled. Some of these coins are worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, depending on the condition and variety, a single 1979 quarter could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's market. Let's take a deep look into why the 1979 quarter is so special, what makes certain varieties valuable, and how you can tell if you have a rare one. Plus, we'll break down the current coin market to give you an up-to-date estimate of what these quarters are selling for right now. First, let's go back in time. In 1979, the United States Mint continued its production of the Washington quarter, a design that had been in circulation since 1932. The obverse features a profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse shows the heraldic eagle with wings spread, a design that remained standard until the introduction of the state quarters in 1999. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There were over 1.1 billion quarters minted in 1979, which at first glance might make you think they're all common and worth only face value. But as always in the world of coin collecting, the devil is in the details. Let's break down the key mints. There are 3 mint marks you'll find on a 1979 quarter: no mint mark for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. While the Philadelphia and Denver coins were intended for circulation, the San Francisco coins were specially struck for collectors and proof sets. Let's start with the 1979 Philadelphia quarter. Over 515 million of these coins were minted. Because of this high mintage, most 1979 Philly quarters are only worth face value, especially in circulated condition. However, if you find one in mint state, especially MS66 or above, the value jumps significantly. An MS66 example can fetch between $25 and $75. At MS67, we're talking $500 or more. These are extremely difficult to find in such pristine condition, which is why the price skyrockets. Now let's talk about the 1979 D quarter. The Denver Mint struck over 489 million quarters in 1979. Again, a high mintage means common in circulation, but in gem uncirculated condition, the value increases. MS65 examples usually sell between $10 and $30, but anything MS67 or higher can command prices upwards of $300. Then there's the San Francisco Mint. This is where things get really exciting. The 1979 S proof quarter is one of the key pieces in this story. The San Francisco Mint struck these quarters only for proof sets, they weren't released for general circulation. The catch? There are 2 types of the S mint mark, known as Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 has a filled or blobby S, while Type 2 has a clear and sharp S. Type 2 is far scarcer and therefore more valuable. A Type 2 proof in PR69 DCAM, that's deep cameo, which means it has a mirror-like field and frosted devices, can bring $100 to $250 on the market. A perfect PR70 DCAM Type 2 can fetch upwards of $1,000 at auction. In fact, a PR70 DCAM Type 2 sold for over $1,500 in recent years. So how do you know if you have a Type 1 or Type 2? It's all about magnification. Get yourself a 10x jeweler's loupe or a coin microscope. Look at the S mint mark. If it appears rounded or fuzzy, that's Type 1. If it's sharply defined with clear serifs, that's Type 2. Simple as that, but the difference in value is massive. Another aspect collectors look for is errors and varieties. While there aren't many widely known die varieties for the 1979 quarter, it's worth keeping your eyes open for off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets. These types of errors can make even a common coin valuable. For example, an off-center 1979 D quarter with 10% to 15% off-centering might fetch $50 or more, depending on the condition. Let's talk about grading. If you think you've got a valuable 1979 quarter, it's important to have it graded by a professional third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. These services authenticate the coin, graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, and encapsulated in a protective holder. A graded coin not only proves authenticity but also adds tremendous credibility and resale value. Now, let's move to the current market. As of mid-2025, the coin collecting market remains strong. Thanks to social media, YouTube, and rising interest in numismatics, demand for high-grade and rare coins is increasing. A 1979 S-Type 2 proof quarter in PR70 DCAM recently sold for over $1,200. High-grade business strikes from Philly or Denver in MS67 condition are consistently drawing $400 to $600. That's big money for a coin that once cost just 25 cents. So what should you do? First, go through your change. Look at your old coin jars, your grandparents' drawers, and even old proof sets you might have forgotten about. You might just be sitting on a valuable piece of American history. Second, get the tools. A magnifying glass, a scale, and a coin album will help you sort and protect your finds. Third, stay informed. Subscribe to numismatic websites, follow auction results, and watch market trends. Prices change, and being in the know can make the difference between selling low and hitting the jackpot. Finally, be patient. Coin collecting is a journey. Not every 1979 quarter is a winner, but every one you look at brings you closer to understanding the incredible world of coins. Today's episode, we're going to take a look at a coin that many people overlook, the 1988 P Washington quarter. Believe it or not, some of these coins could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on specific features and condition. So grab your coin jars and get ready to learn everything you need to know about the 1988 P quarter and why it just might be worth way more than 25 cents. Chapter 1. Quick overview of the 1988 P quarter. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. The 1988 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P mint mark. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 562 million quarters, an enormous number. That means it's a very common coin in circulation today. But don't let that fool you. Some rare varieties, high-grade specimens, and error coins from 1988 are fetching big bucks on the collector market. We're going to break down what to look for and why some of these coins are so special. Chapter 2. Basic features and composition. The 1988 P quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a reeded edge. The obverse features the iconic profile of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse, you'll see the American eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, flanked by olive branches, a symbol of both strength and peace. Now, on the surface, this seems like just another quarter. But the devil is in the details. Chapter 3, Rare Errors and Varieties. Here's where it gets exciting. Not all 1988 P quarters are created equal. There are a few key errors and varieties that make these coins especially valuable. First, the double die obverse. This variety occurs when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned during production, causing a doubling of design elements. On the 1988 P quarter, look closely at the motto "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date. If you see clear doubling under magnification, you might have struck gold, metaphorically speaking, of course. These double die varieties can sell for over $300 depending on condition. Next up is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't perfectly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. A dramatic off-center strike, say 10% or more, can fetch $150 to $500 depending on severity and grade. Another key error to look for is a clipped planchet. This means the coin was cut improperly from the metal strip, leading to a visible chunk missing from the edge. Values vary, but you could be looking at a $50 to $200 coin depending on the size and location of the clip. And don't forget die cracks, cuts, and lamination errors. These can also boost value, especially if they're dramatic or unusual. Chapter 4, Mint State and Graded Coins. Even without errors, a 1988 P quarter in pristine condition can be worth big money. Coins that are uncirculated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC can command impressive premiums. Let me give you an example. A 1988 P quarter graded MS67 by PCGS, that's Mint State 67, sold at auction for over $800. Yes, that's right. Almost $1,000 for a common quarter, but only in nearly perfect condition. Why? Because out of hundreds of millions minted, only a handful have survived in that high a grade. If you think you've got a pristine 1988 P quarter, it might be worth submitting for grading. Just remember, it's only worth the cost if the coin has excellent luster, no contact marks, and strong eye appeal. Chapter 5, Current Market Value. So what's a regular 1988p quarter worth today? In circulated condition, it's still worth 25 cents. But let's break down the potential value tiers: circulated with no errors, 25 cents; lightly circulated but high detail, 50 cents to $1; uncirculated but raw, $2 to $10; graded MS65, $25 to $40; graded MS66, $80 to $150; graded MS67, $500 to $900. Double die or error varieties, $100 to $1,000 plus depending on rarity. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and demand. Chapter 6, Tips for identifying valuable 1988p quarters. Now let's go over some expert tips for identifying a valuable 1988p quarter in your change. Always use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Most errors are too small to spot with the naked eye. Check the date, mint mark, and lettering for doubling or distortion. Inspect the edges, look for signs of clipping or lamination. Compare your coin to verified examples online or in grading catalogs. If you think you found something special, consider getting a second opinion from a reputable coin dealer or grading service. Chapter 7, Conclusion. So there you have it, the 1988p Washington quarter. It may be common in pocket change, but it has the potential to be a hidden gem. Whether it's a mint error, a high-grade specimen, or a dramatic variety, there are coins out there just waiting to be discovered. Keep checking your change, and never underestimate the value of what looks like just another coin. Who knows? Your next quarter might just be worth a small fortune. Where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind the currency we use every day. If you've ever come across a 1995D quarter and just tossed it in your change jar, hold up, because you might be sitting on some serious cash. Today, we're exploring the 1995D Washington quarter, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. We're going to break down its history, what makes it valuable, rare varieties to look out for, and its current market value in 2025. So grab your coin jar, you might want to check it while watching this video. Let's dive in. Section 1, Background of the 1995D QUARTR. First, let's talk about what the 1995D quarter actually is. The D mint mark means this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. In 1995, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, more than 1.1 billion, to be exact. On the surface, it seems like just another mass-produced coin. But not all 1995D quarters are created equal. Some have specific mint errors or are in such pristine condition that collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on them. This quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, which has been a staple on U.S. quarters since 1932. On the reverse, you'll find the familiar eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and an olive branch, a symbol of America's strength and peace. Section 2, What makes the 1995D quarter valuable? Now, let's get into the meat of the topic. What makes a 1995D quarter valuable? There are a few factors that can turn a 25-cent piece into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Number 1, condition. Collectors look for coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition. These are usually graded by companies like PCGS or NGC. A 1995D quarter that grades MS67 or higher can fetch a big premium. Why? Because very few coins survive the minting and circulation process without scratches, dings, or other wear. Number 2, mint errors. This is where things get really interesting. Some 1995D quarters were minted with errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or die cracks. These types of errors are relatively rare, and collectors love them because they represent anomalies, tiny accidents that make a coin unique. And number 3, full strike details. Collectors also pay attention to the sharpness of the strike. Quarters with crisp, fully struck details, especially on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, are considered more desirable. Coins with weak or soft strikes are less valuable unless they're part of a recognized error category. Section 3, Rare varieties to look for. Now let's look at some of the most valuable and rare varieties of the 1995D quarter. Point 1, of the most sought after is the double die obverse. While more common in the Philadelphia Mint coins, some collectors have reported minor doubling on Denver minted 1995 quarters. Always inspect the letters "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If you see any doubling, you may want to get the coin professionally evaluated. Another thing to look out for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design being missing. Depending on how off-center it is and how much of the design is still visible, these coins can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s. Also, check for any clipped planchets. That's when the coin has a curved cut missing from the edge due to an error in the blanking process. These are unusual and collectible. Section 4, Current Market Value in 2025. Now let's talk about the current market value. What is a 1995 D quarter worth today in 2025? A standard circulated 1995 D quarter is generally worth face value 25 cents. However, uncirculated coins that grade MS65 can sell for between $10 and $30 depending on demand. Now here's where it gets exciting. Coins graded MS67 or higher are far more rare and can command prices of $100 to $300 or more. The highest graded examples known, MS68, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. Mint error coins like the ones we mentioned earlier can range from $50 to over $500 depending on the type of error and its visibility. We checked current auction listings, and recent eBay sales show that even raw 1995 D quarters with visible errors or exceptional luster are attracting collectors and selling for a premium. So if you've got a 1995 D quarter in great shape, or you notice something unusual about it, like doubling, an off-center strike, or a planchet error, don't spend it just yet. You might want to get it graded or appraised. Section 5, How to check if your coin is valuable. Now here's a quick guide on how you can check if your 1995 D quarter is valuable. Step 1, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin for doubling or other errors. Step 2, check the coin's condition, look for scratches, wear, or discoloration. The better the condition, the more it's worth. Step 3, compare it to known error types online or in collectors' catalogs. Step 4, if you believe it's valuable, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Step 5, if graded, consider listing it on a platform like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Great Collections. Closing THOUGHTS. The 1995 D Washington quarter is a great example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. While most of these coins are worth their face value, there are rare gems out there that could be hiding in plain sight. So next time you're digging through your spare change, remember, you might be holding onto a small fortune. Coins are history you can hold in your hand, and sometimes, they're worth a lot more than you think. Today, we're diving deep into two fascinating coins that have caught the attention of collectors and appraisers around the world: the 2006 quarter dollar and the legendary 1867 quarter dollar. These coins, despite their obvious differences in age, share one thing in common: some editions are worth far more than their face value. So, why are they valuable? What should you look for? And how much are they worth in today's market? Let's get started. Let's begin with the 1867 quarter dollar, a true gem from the post-Civil War era. This coin is part of the Seated Liberty series, minted between 1838 and 1891. Designed by Christian Gobrecht, the Seated Liberty quarter showcases Lady Liberty seated on a rock, holding a shield in one hand and a liberty pole in the other, a symbol of freedom and vigilance. In 1867, the United States Mint produced fewer than 50,000 Seated Liberty quarters. Most were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and none were made in San Francisco or New Orleans that year. Because of its limited mintage and the passage of over 150 years, original 1867 quarters in good condition are extremely rare. What makes this coin especially valuable is its condition and any unique mint errors. In circulated grades like good or very good, an 1867 Seated Liberty quarter can fetch anywhere from $60 to $150. But in higher grades, especially coins graded mint state 60 or better, the price skyrockets. One pristine specimen sold for over $25,000 at auction. If it features strong luster, minimal surface wear, and a clean strike, collectors will pay a premium, but rarity is not the only factor. Die variations, strike quality, and collector demand can drastically affect value. For example, an 1867 quarter with proof-like surfaces or a double die error could be worth several thousand more. Add to that the scarcity of surviving high-grade coins, and you've got a true investment piece. If you think you have an 1867 quarter, check the edges, inspect the shield detail, and look for signs of cleaning, which can lower the value. Always have the coin authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Now let's fast forward nearly a century and a half to 2006, the year the state quarters program was in full swing. That year, 5 unique state quarters were released: Nevada, Nebraska, Colorado, North Dakota, and South Dakota. While most of these quarters were mass-produced and hold only face value, some rare editions from 2006 are highly sought after today, especially with mint errors or special finishes. One of the most popular finds is the 2006 Nevada quarter with a double die reverse. This type of error causes parts of the design, often the lettering or imagery, to appear doubled. These error coins can sell for $50 to $200 depending on their condition and the prominence of the doubling. Then there's the satin finish variety. In 2005 and 2006, the U.S. Mint released special uncirculated mint sets that featured coins with a unique satin finish. These coins were struck on specially prepared dies, giving them a smooth, matte appearance. If you have a 2060 satin finish coin in pristine condition, especially one graded MS68 or higher, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. The real excitement comes with misstrikes and rare minting anomalies. Look out for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins with missing clad layers. One 2006 Colorado quarter with an off-center strike and partial missing clad layer sold for over $400 in auction. Even minor errors can fetch between $50 and $100. Another key point: some 2006 quarters have been discovered with reverse die gouges or cuds, making them unique and desirable to error coin collectors. Always check both sides of your coin under magnification. So how do you know if your quarter is valuable? Start by inspecting the date, mint mark, and overall condition. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to identify any doubling or anomalies. We recommend referencing trusted online coin databases or getting your coin graded professionally. Remember, condition is king. A coin in mint state 65 is often worth 10 times more than the same coin in fine condition. Now let's talk current values. As of mid-2025, an 1867 seated Liberty quarter in fine condition is valued at around $120. In negative 50 Australian dollars grade, it jumps to nearly $900. Uncirculated examples? Expect a range from $1,500 to $25,000 based on strike and luster. For the 2006 quarter dollars, regular circulation coins remain at face value. But mint errors, satin finishes, and high-grade specimens are currently being sold for $50 to $400. Top-end registry-grade coins, especially those graded MS69 by PCGS or NGC, can command prices upwards of $800 in rare cases. So whether you're holding a coin from the Civil War era or one from the 21st century, your quarter could be worth a lot more than 25 cents. The key is in the details: the date, the mint mark, the condition, and the potential for rare errors. Always do your homework, and if you're not sure, seek expert appraisal. Today, we're diving into a fascinating story of two coins that have captivated collectors for decades: the 2007 quarter dollar and the much older, extremely rare 1889 quarter dollar. You may have one of these coins in your pocket change or collection right now. And if you do, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So sit back, grab a magnifying glass, and let's take a deep dive into why these coins are so special, their historical significance, their hidden mint errors, and most importantly, how much they're worth on today's market. Let's start with the 2007 quarter dollar. This was part of the legendary 50-state quarters program that the U.S. Mint launched in 1999 and continued through 2008. In 2007 alone, 5 state quarters were released: Montana, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. Each of these quarters had its own unique reverse design reflecting key symbols and history of the state. Now, most of these 2007 quarters are worth just face value, 25 cents, if they're heavily circulated. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins have extremely rare mint errors or unique characteristics that make them worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most famous is the 2007 Wyoming quarter with the double die reverse. If you look closely at the bucking horse and rider design, some specimens show clear signs of doubling in the horse's mane or the lettering. These errors were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and in high grades, they've sold for over $500 at auction. Another high-value variation is the 2007 Utah quarter with a dramatic die break. These are often called cut errors, where a piece of the die breaks off, and the resulting coin has a raised blob of metal somewhere near the edge. These are especially desirable if they are dramatic and affect the train or the track's design. Prices vary based on the severity of the break, but many examples sell for $100 to $400 depending on condition. Then we have the 2007 satin finish quarters that were part of the official mint sets. These have a distinctive soft luster and were never released into circulation. In perfect condition, graded MS69 or MS70 by PCGS or NGC, these can bring $50 to $200 each, especially for lower mintage issues like Utah. Now let's travel way back to the 19th century. The 1889 quarter dollar is part of the Seated Liberty series, which ran from 1838 to 1891. Designed by Christian Gobrecht, the Seated Liberty quarter is a true piece of American history. The obverse shows Lady Liberty seated on a rock, holding a shield and a liberty pole. The reverse features an eagle with a shield on its chest and arrows and an olive branch in its talons. In 1889, these coins were minted in Philadelphia and San Francisco. No quarters were struck in Carson City that year, which is important for collectors. What makes the 1889 quarter so valuable is not just its age but its condition and mint mark. Circulated examples from the Philadelphia Mint can range from $25 to $150 depending on where. However, high-grade specimens, say $58 Australian dollars or MS63, can sell for anywhere from $400 to over $1,200 at major auctions. San Francisco minted 1889 quarters, marked with an S beneath the eagle on the reverse, are significantly rarer in uncirculated condition. If you happen to own one graded MS65 or higher, you're looking at values well into the $4,000 to $8,000 range. Collectors also go crazy for proof versions. In 1889, the U.S. Mint struck only 711 proof quarters. These are extremely scarce today. A proof 65 example from 1889 can fetch over $10,000, and cameo or deep cameo versions with flawless surfaces can command even more. So how do you know if your 2007 or 1889 quarter is valuable? First, check the condition. The less wear, the better. Coins that look almost brand new, especially with original luster, are far more valuable. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to check for doubling, die breaks, off-centers, or other errors. Even small errors can add significant value. Second, look for mint marks. On the 2007 quarters, these will be either P4 Philadelphia or D4 Denver. There are no proof quarters with an S unless they came from a special mint set. For 1889 quarters, S means San Francisco, and a blank spot means Philadelphia. Again, proof coins will have a mirror-like surface and were only sold to collectors. Third, grading is everything. Have your coin evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC if you think it might be worth big money. A certified grade dramatically increases the value and buyer confidence. As of 2025, coin collecting is on the rise. Rare quarters, especially those with historic significance or unique errors, are in high demand. Online auctions like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Great Collections regularly see competitive bidding for these coins. A 2007 double-die Utah quarter graded MS67 recently sold for over $1,200. A proof 67 1889 Seated Liberty quarter sold for over $15,000. Prices are continuing to rise as collectors and investors realize the long-term value of these historical coins. Even more exciting, new collectors are entering the hobby every day, which means now is a great time to sell if you have a valuable coin, or to start hunting if you're just getting into it. So whether you have a 2007 quarter sitting in your change jar or an 1889 Seated Liberty quarter handed down through your family, take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of American history worth far more than you think. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of modern coins with a story that's turning pocket change into powerful profit. We're talking about the 2017 P quarter dollar, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but once you understand its secrets, you might find out you're holding onto a piece of numismatic history. This video will walk you through everything: the history of the 2017 P quarter, the reason it's special, the rare error coins to look for, and the current market values that could blow your mind. Stay tuned until the end, because some of these coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Let's begin with the basics. The year was 2017. The United States Mint released a special series of quarters as part of the ongoing America the Beautiful series, which began in 2010 and continued through 2021. But 2017 was a very unique year in the world of modern coinage. Why? Because it marked the 225th anniversary of the U.S. Mint, and for the first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint added a P mint mark to circulating quarters. That's right. Before 2017, quarters made in Philadelphia didn't carry any mint mark at all. But to celebrate the Mint's historic anniversary, the decision was made to stamp the P on all quarters produced at the facility. This created a historic first and made every 2017 P quarter a milestone in American coinage. That simple addition turned what might be a common coin into something collectors instantly recognized as unique. The 2017 P quarter became a collectible not just for its design, but for what it represents in the evolution of U.S. currency. Now, there were 5 unique quarters released in 2017, each honoring a different national site: Effigy Mounds National Monument in Iowa, Frederick Douglass National Historic Site in Washington, D.C. Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri, Ellis Island, part of the Statue of Liberty National Monument in New Jersey, George Rogers Clark National Historical Park in Indiana. All of these designs were struck with the new P mint mark on the obverse, just under the motto, "In God We Trust." That small change caught collectors' attention, but what truly elevated these coins in value were certain rare mint errors and their condition. Let's talk about the real moneymakers, the error coins. These aren't just normal 2017 P quarters. These are coins that were struck with flaws that make them one of a kind. Some of the most valuable error types found on 2017 P quarters included die cracks and die chips, especially around the mouth, eyes, or hands in the design's double die obverse or reverse, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die off-center strikes, where the coin's design is noticeably shifted from center cuts and retained cut errors, raised blobs from broken dies that appear on the coins. Rim or design, for example, a 2017 P Effigy Mounds quarter with a dramatic die break across the obverse sold for over $500 at auction. A double die Ellis Island quarter went for over $1,200 in uncirculated condition. The value of these error coins can spike dramatically based on rarity, visual appeal, and collector demand. Always inspect your quarters carefully under magnification. Even small cracks or doubling can bring big returns, or grading is another crucial factor. A pristine 2017 P quarter graded by PCGS or NGC at mint state 67 or higher can be worth far more than face value, even without an error. While common circulated examples may sell for a few bucks each, those in certified MS67 condition or better have reached sales between $50 and $200 depending on the design and buyer interest. So if you come across a 2017 P quarter with no scratches, full luster, and no wear, consider getting it graded. It could be your entry ticket into the high-value collector market. As of 2025, the coin collecting market continues to place a premium on unique modern coins, especially those with low populations in high grades or documented error types. A quick look at online auctions and dealer listings shows that certain 2017 P quarters with rare errors or certified top grades are selling for $75 to $150 for MS66 or MS67 graded examples, $300 to $500 for rare die break errors, $1,000 or more for dramatic doubled dies or retained cuts in excellent condition. These values are not just hype, they're real-world auction results. And as more collectors recognize the significance of the 2017 P mint mark, demand continues to grow. So what should you do if you find a 2017 P quarter? First, check the design. Identify which of the 5 America the Beautiful quarters it is. Then look for anything unusual, doubling, cracks, off-centering. Examine the coin under good lighting with a magnifying glass. If it looks perfect, consider sending it in for professional grading. If it shows an error, research similar past sales or consult with a numismatic expert, and whatever you do, don't just spend it. That pocket change might just be a rare gem in disguise. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising stories in modern American coinage, the 2019 P quarter dollar coins. If you've got a jar of change or you're an avid collector, you're going to want to stay tuned. These coins might look like ordinary pocket change, but some of them are worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, certain examples have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. So how did the 2019 quarters become such a hot topic in the numismatic world? Let's dig into the history, the rare varieties, and what makes some of these coins so valuable on the current market. Section 1, the 2019 America the Beautiful quarters. In 2019, the United States Mint released 5 different America the Beautiful quarter designs. These coins were part of a series that began in 2010 and continued through 2021, each honoring a national park or historic site from a different state or territory. The 2019 lineup included Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts, American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam, San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness in Idaho. All of these designs were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P mint mark, and released into circulation. Section 2, the key to value, the W Mint mark and special releases. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2019, for the first time in history, the U.S. Mint released quarters with a W Mint mark, representing the West Point Mint. Only 2 million of each design were minted with the W mark, and they were not sold directly, they were mixed in with regular coins and distributed into general circulation. This was a bold experiment by the Mint to encourage coin collecting in a digital age, and it worked. Collectors scrambled to find these elusive W-marked quarters, and values skyrocketed. A 2019 W Lowell quarter, for example, in uncirculated condition could bring in $30 to $75 easily. High-grade examples, certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC in mint state 67 or higher, have sold for more than $300 each. A Section 3, 2019 P coins and their hidden gems. Now let's talk specifically about the Philadelphia Mint coins, the 2019 P quarters. While millions were produced, not all 2019 P quarters are created equal. Some contain valuable errors or varieties that can make them worth a lot of money. Among the most notable are die chips, doubling errors, and struck-through grease errors. For example, collectors have found 2019 P Lowell quarters with strong doubling on Washington's face or the obverse lettering. Others feature cuds and die breaks that add a unique and valuable touch to these coins. In particular, the 2019 P American Memorial Park quarter has turned up with a double die reverse doubling seen on the text American Memorial Park or on the hands and wreath of the central figure. Depending on the severity and condition, these can fetch anywhere from $50 to $200, sometimes more if the coin is slabbed and graded in high mint state. Section 4, what grading means for value. Now let's talk about grading. A 2019 P quarter straight from circulation is typically worth face value unless it has something special going on. But a high-grade example, let's say mint state 68 or higher, can significantly increase in value. Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company are the two most respected third-party grading services, and coins graded by them bring a premium at auction. A 2019 P San Antonio Missions quarter in MS68 condition has sold for over $150. The key is that the higher the grade, the fewer coins exist at that level, making it a rarity. Section 5, the role of population reports. Population reports from grading services tell us how many coins have been certified at each grade. As of today, the number of 2019 P quarters graded MS68 or higher is relatively low, especially for the later designs like the Frank Church River of No Return quarter. This scarcity drives demand and value. Always check recent auction results and pop reports if you think you have a high-grade coin. Section 6, where to find valuable 2019 quarters. So where can you find these valuable coins? Believe it or not, they're still out there. Roll searching at your bank is one of the best ways. Ask for rolls of quarters and go through them carefully. Look closely at every 2019 P coin for signs of doubling, die cracks, cuds, or other unusual features. Use a loupe or microscope for a better look. You'd be surprised how many collectors have pulled $100 coins from bankrolls. Also, check your pocket change, tip jars, or vending machines. Since these coins were distributed directly into circulation, you never know when a rare example will show up. A Section 7, market trends and what to watch for. Now let's talk about current market trends. As of mid-2025, values for high-grade and error 2019 P quarters remain strong. While common circulated examples won't break the bank, any coin with a significant mint error or a certified high grade is in high demand. Prices can fluctuate based on collector interest, silver and copper prices, and the general state of the coin market. But one thing is certain, 2019 quarters have carved out a special place in US coin history, and collectors are still chasing them. Closing, so there you have it. The 2019 P quarter dollars may look like ordinary change, but they carry stories of American history, the artistry of modern minting, and the thrill of treasure hunting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone who enjoys a good hunt through loose change, these coins offer a real opportunity. Check your quarters, look closely, and you might just find a small fortune hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, US mint history, and how to build a valuable collection. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a 2019 error or W quarter. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy collecting!